And that's the dream. Waking up from the dream. And the reality of it.
What do you mean by the internal? There's always so much discussion.
There's so much hype on internal. The idea of chi, it can't be measured, it can't be seen. I think the first biggest mistake that people make with chi is they try to mystify it. You know, in Kung Fu, they try to make everything mystical. And it's right there in your face. Everybody has Kung Fu, as we were talking before. The idea of becoming Shaolin is experiencing who the true self is. And it's only a model. So it's a model that I use. You can achieve that through playing tennis. You can achieve that through playing piano. You can achieve it through acting. You can achieve it through being the best at your job, investments, or whatever it may be. But you may be isolated within that area. The idea is the only problem with the areas that I spoke of just now is that if you don't branch out into other areas, then you stay confined to that one area. So that's what I call stagnant chi. That's where you're stuck and you think, okay, I'm here now. So you could have a black belt in investing. You could have a black belt in acting. You could have a black belt in music, whatever it may be. But you're limited to that. I've made it here. This is all I need. You're just scratching the surface. So all of this in life are it's like a giant school ground where each thing is a process to help you better understand you and the environment that you live in. Not just become an expert. And then, especially if you're an expert in finance or money or you're famous or whatever, everybody wants to be around you, everybody wants to be close to you, because maybe some of that will rub off on you. You know? Or maybe they'll be your lucky break or something like that. And that's all baloney. You know? Everything's a journey about self-discovery. And that's truly what Shaolin is. So anybody that may have mastered, like you have the mixed martial art guys or the top guys out there, that's within that realm. But really, I think if you spoke to them as just privately, as people, you're going to see, yeah, I know there's further I can go. I know there's more for me to understand. If they're being true, or if they stay within that realm, because that's where all the money and everything is. You know, this is where I've got to stay. But nobody's mastered anything there. Just master of nothing. The idea is that your expression is here. And the whole idea of Shaolin is to express yourself within everything that you do. That's Shaolin. That's anything. That's in anything that you do. Internally, you have to be authentic. And the whole idea of survival, the whole idea of life, is to find your authentic self, who you truly are. And how can you present that in everything that you do? Chi is not something that you feel, which throughout my processes was something I was always looking for. I was always looking for a feeling. You know, like I feel powerful. I feel the chi. It's a matter of your authentic self. How are you expressing that? What brings that part to life? You know, it's about creation. It's about sensing something more within you. When you talk about internal arts, and then you have all these secret things where people are doing all this stuff because we all want to be mesmerized. That's not, and then, oh, maybe I'll get there. There's always somebody there that attracts you to go in that direction. But what about you? What do you truly want to achieve? You know, if I saw a man walk on water, and you saw a man walk on water, would you follow that man? Like, he walks on water. He knows something that I don't know because he's walking on water. Maybe he's walking on water because he's creating an energy field between himself and the water, and he's stepping on an energy field. Or maybe it's a trick that he's walking on water. But let's say if all of a sudden something here is floating from here to there, would you follow them? I think everybody probably would. I wouldn't. That doesn't impress me. How you do that or what that, because I know there's invisible forces that exist within me. Things that you can't measure. It's the things that you can't see that really have meaning. The things that you see are only what you see. I believe in the mystery. I don't believe in the fact. But it turns to fact as you grow within it. When you talk about chi, when you talk about internal arts, the first thing you have to have is faith in what you're doing. And I'm not saying masked faith, because that could be taken away from you very easily. Or you can make an excuse while it was taken away. Like you may feel like you have all this power, this internal power, and then you face some guy in the street and he goes, pow! And he knocks you down. And then you wake up the next day and you make up excuses for what happened. No, what happened is because you suck. That's what happened, and you don't have any internal power, you don't have nothing. It was all just a big bubble, you just got burst, but you're going to go back into that bubble. You're not going to wake that person up. They're going to make excuses for it. True Shaolin is not about making excuses. You know, it's about really facing what yourself. And the idea of somebody's hands being in front of you or legs being in front of you, it's not about challenging, it's about becoming. And that's the difference. You aren't challenging. And that what you're challenging is to become that individual that's in front of you. Not to beat him. That's what sparring basically was designed to do. But we've lost that. Now it's about making money. It's about that. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, because wherever you are is where you are. But where do you want to go from there? So when you're facing an opponent, it's not about beating your opponent. It's about becoming your opponent. It's about equalizing out your opponent. If your opponent is fire, how can I match that fire, become that fire? If your opponent is air, well then you got all these elements you got to deal with. If your opponent is wood, how do you match that out? You know? How do you become? How do you find your authentic self? How do you be real? Are you real? Do you feel that you're real? Do you feel that you express your authentic self? Or are you simply just following something else? Or somebody else that is able to perform things that you can't?